Welcome to Statistics Made Simple. I'm Savita Walson, and this will be my final video on the binomial distribution. In this video, that is Solutions to Problems Based on the Binomial Distribution Part 4, we are going to learn about fitting of the binomial distribution, which is a very important topic, and you will see its application in a chapter which is called as Testing of Hypothesis. Let us now learn the steps which are used in fitting of a binomial distribution. Now, for any theoretical distribution, one should know the parameters of that distribution, what is the PMF of the distribution, along with the recurrence formula between successive frequencies. So at this point, I would like to mention that the binomial distribution has two parameters, that is n and p, where small n stands for the number of times you conduct the random experiment, or it stands for the number of trials which are always finite, and small p stands for the probability of success. And remember that probability is a value which lies between 0 and 1. And the PMF of the binomial distribution, we have used it in so many problems till now, is P of x equal to NCX, P to the power x, Q to the power n minus x, where x takes value 0, 1, 2, so on till n. And you know that Q is equal to 1 minus P, 0 otherwise. And let's recollect the recurrence relation between successive frequencies. It is Tx equal to n minus x plus 1 by x, P by Q into P of x minus 1. So this explains the first point which you see on the slide. Now let's move on to the second. So it's going to be repetitive now. That is, the parameters of the binomial distribution are n and p. Now in certain problems you know that capital N will also be given. And what I'm going to explain next is again a very important point. Now in a problem, observe the table which will be given to you. Usually the table will have two columns. The first column will be the variable and the second column will be the frequencies. Okay. Now how do you identify what is small n in the problem? Now small n will be usually the last value in the x column. You will understand this point very clearly when we'll work out the problems. So I'll just give a recap of whatever we discussed on this slide. First, you have to obtain the parameters of the binomial distribution, that is n and p, and sometimes capital N also will be given to you in the question directly, or if we just add up all the frequencies in the given problem, it will result in the value of capital N. And what is small n? It will be the last value in the x column. Okay. So once you have identified what is small n, capital N and p, next is to check the words which are used in the problem very carefully. Now in the problem, if they use the words like unbiased, fair, equally likely, the problem can be related to either coins or dice or boys or girls, first PUC students, second PUC students, okay, men, women. Then we assume that small p is equal to half or 0.5. If The words like unbiased, fair, equally likely are not used in the problem. Then how do we compute the parameter value of P? Now the steps are as follows. I mentioned that a table will be given to you where the table will comprise of two columns. The first column will have the values of the variable and the second column will have the frequencies. So in the first column, if we have the x values, and in the second column, if we have the frequencies, then this looks like a discrete frequency distribution which you have learned last year. And all of you know how to calculate the arithmetic mean for a discrete frequency distribution. The formula which you see on the screen is x bar equal to summation fx by capital N. So if the parameter P is not given to you in the problem, first you find out the mean of the problem using the formula x bar equal to summation fx by N. Next, equate it to the mean of the binomial distribution. What is the mean of the binomial distribution? It is E of x equal to NP. So that's what you see on the screen. The important formula which will be used is x bar is equal to NP. So what is x bar? X bar you have to calculate from the problem which is given to you, and NP is what? It is the mean of the binomial distribution. So you have to use x bar equal to NP only if you don't know what is the parameter P value. Once you have identified now what are the values of N and P, we can fit the binomial distribution. So the first step would be given. List down what is small n, P, find out Q which is equal to 1 minus P, and also write down capital N value. By now all of you know all the steps which I have discussed in the previous problems. Define capital X, and capital X will depend on the problem on hand. Next is to write down the PMF of the binomial distribution in a general format, and in the general format you replace small n, P and Q by the values for the concerned problem. And once you have written the PMF, you know we can find out the probabilities for different values of x. And using this, we can also find out the corresponding theoretical or expected frequencies. You will understand all these points in the next few problems which you are going to work out. And please keep in mind, I'm repeating myself over and over again. It is a very important topic which will be used in a 10-mark question under testing of hypothesis. Problem 19. 7 coins are tossed 128 times and the number of heads obtained is noted. Fit a binomial distribution and calculate the expected frequencies when the first subdivision is the coins are fair, and second subdivision when the nature of the coins are unknown. Now a table is given to you which has two columns. The first column is number of heads and the second column is number of tosses. Now the first step is, whenever you take down the table, mark the first column, that is number of heads in this case, as x. Okay. Now see the last value under this column. The last value is 7. Mark that as small n. The second column you mark it as the frequencies, which is f, and when we add up all the frequencies in the second column, we get capital N equal to 128, which is as mentioned to you in the question. Now this problem, it has two subdivisions. The first subdivision is that the coins are fair, and the second subdivision, the nature of the coins are unknown. Now, each of these subdivisions can be asked as a 5-mark question. So let's get started with the first subdivision, that is, the coins are fair. So write down the first step. Given small n is equal to 7. Now because of the word fair, we know that the parameter p is 0.5. Now find out q, which is 1 minus p. 1 minus 0.5 is 0.5. And capital N is equal to 128. Now what is the next step? The next step is to define the random variable capital X. And capital X will always be the heading of the first column in the table. So you can write X as number of heads obtained. Then write the general format of the PMF of the binomial distribution, P of x equal to NCX p to the power x q to the power n minus x, where x takes the value 0, 1, 2, so on till n, and q is equal to 1 minus p, 0 otherwise. Now substitute the values of n, p and q in the above PMF and we get the PMF as p of x equal to 7cx 0.5 to the power x 0.5 to the power 7 minus x, where x takes the values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0 otherwise. Start with the PMF. Consider p of x equal to 7cx 0.5 to the power x 0.5 to the power 7 minus x. Now put x equal to 0. So you will get p of 0 is equal to 7c0 0.5 to the power 0 0.5 to the power 7 minus 0, which is equal to 7c0 is 1, 0.5 to the power 0 is also 1, and then calculate 0.5 to the power 7 and taking 4 places after the decimal after rounding off, it will result in 0.0078. So you'll see that in the next few problems also, we'll find out only p of 0. Now it's very important that you calculate the value of p of 0 correctly, otherwise the remaining values may go wrong. So once you've calculated p of 0, now the aim is to fit a binomial distribution and to obtain the expected frequencies. So for that, you start with the theoretical or expected frequency formula, that is Tx is equal to capital N into P of x. Now in this equation, put x equal to 0. So you'll get T0 equal to capital N is 128 into P of 0, which is 128 into 0.0078, which is 0.9984. Now that we know the value of T naught, we can use the recurrence relation between successive frequencies of the binomial distribution to obtain the remaining theoretical frequencies, that is T1, T2 up to T7. So what is the recurrence relation between successive frequencies we have learnt? The formula is Tx equal to n minus x plus 1 divided by x, p by q, t x minus 1. Now in this subdivision, we know that p is 0.5 and q is 0.5. So I am calculating p by q separately and you get 0.5 divided by 0.5, which is equal to 1. So our recurrence relation will now reduce to Tx equal to n minus x plus 1 by x, Tx minus 1, because p by q has reduced to 1 now. All you have to do is put x equal to 1. So you get T1 is equal to 7 minus 1 plus 1 whole divided by 1, T1 minus 1, which is 7 T naught, which is 7 into 0.9984, which simplifies to 6.9 888. Similarly, put x equal to 2. So you'll get T2 is equal to 7 minus 2 plus 1 by 2. T2 minus 1, which is equal to 3 T1, which is 3 into 6.9888, which is 20.9664. Similarly, put x equal to 3. So you'll get T3 is equal to 34.944. Put x equal to 4. T4 is equal to 34.944. When x is equal to 5, we get T5 is equal to 7 minus 5 plus 1 by 5. T5 minus 1, which is equal to 3 by 5 T4, which is 0.6 into 34.944, which is 20.9664. In a similar manner, put x equal to 6, which will give us T6 equal to 6.9888. And when x is equal to 7, T7 is equal to 0.9984. Now that we have obtained all the theoretical frequencies or the expected frequencies, we have to write them in the form of a table. So form a table with two columns. The first column will be x. List down the values from 0 to 7. The next column is tx. Write the values as 0.9984, which I approximate to 1, 6.9888, which is again approximated to a whole number, that is 7, 20.9664 approximated to 21. Similarly, 34.944 is equal to 35. And the next few values are approximated to the closest whole number. So it results in 35, 21, 7 and 1. And now add up all these theoretical frequencies and it should give us the value of capital N, which is equal to 128. Now, though we obtained the theoretical frequencies in the form of decimals, that is 4 places after the decimals, we round them off to a whole number, because frequencies, you know that they are never in decimals, but they should always be in whole numbers, because frequencies may denote something like number of students or number of trees, number of children, okay, number of books. So we cannot have all these in the form of decimals. That's why whenever we get the theoretical frequencies in the form of decimals, we should round them off to the closest whole number. And importantly, always check the value which is there after the decimal. You know that only if the value after the decimal is 5, or if it is a value greater than 5, only then we can round off. So that's what we have done in this particular problem. So as a caption at the end, I have given you a note. Theoretical frequencies or the expected frequencies should always be expressed in whole numbers and their total should be equal to capital N. Okay, so this is a very important point to remember. Never leave the theoretical frequencies in the decimal form. You have to round them off to the closest whole number. And one more thing you observe in the table, whenever P is equal to 0.5, we had learnt a property under the binomial distribution that the binomial distribution is symmetric. When is it symmetric? Only when P is equal to 0.5. And what do you mean by symmetric? It means that the values or the shape of the curve on the right tail and the left tail will be similar. That's what you mean by a symmetric distribution. So in this case, you'll see that the values in the beginning of the table, that is 1, 7, 21, 35, and the values at the end of the table, that is 35, 21, 7, 1, they are the same. So this happens only when p is equal to 0.5. So when p is 0.5, the binomial distribution is a symmetric distribution. So you're seeing another example of this property. We move on to the second subdivision, where the case is the nature of the coins are unknown. So when they say something like this, that the nature of the coins are unknown, it means that we don't know what is the parameter value of P. So write the first step as given. N will be equal to 7, capital N equal to 128. Now write down capital X as number of heads obtained and form the table with 3 columns now. The first column will be number of heads, which you denote as X, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and the last value in the X column, you mark it as small n. Number of tosses will be the frequencies F, which is 7, 6, 19, 35, 30, 23, 7 and 1. And so when we add up these frequencies, we get capital N is equal to 128. Now, what is the next step? Because we don't know what is the parameter value P, we need to find out the mean of the given problem. So you see that the first column is X, the second column is F in the table. So it is like a discrete frequency distribution. We know what is the formula for a discrete frequency distribution to calculate the mean. That is X bar equal to summation Fx by capital N. So form a third column in the table, that is Fx, and you'll get the values as 0, 6, 38, 105, 120, 115, 42 and 7, which results in summation Fx is equal to 433. Write the mean formula. X bar is equal to summation Fx by capital N, which implies X bar is equal to 433 by 128, which is equal to 3.38. So when you calculate the mean, just take 2 places after the decimal after rounding off. Now the next step is we have to equate the mean of the given problem to the mean of the binomial distribution. So I had already discussed in this video previously that the most important formula which we use is X bar is equal to NP. And what is X bar? X bar will be the mean of the given problem and NP will be the mean of the binomial distribution. And this formula should be used only when we don't know what is the parameter P value. So now using the formula X bar equal to NP, you will get 3.38 is equal to 7P, or P is equal to 3.38 divided by 7, which is 0.48. Calculate Q, which is 1 minus P. 1 minus 0.48 is equal to 0.52. So we know the N value. N is how much? It is 7. P is 0.48. Q is 0.52. Now that we have N, P and Q values, it is easy for us to write the PMF of the binomial distribution. So write the general format of the PMF, and in that you substitute the values of N, P and Q. So we get the final PMF as P of x equal to 7cx, 0.48 to the power x, 0.52 to the power 7 minus x, where x takes the value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0 otherwise. Consider the PMF P of x equal to 7cx, 0.48 to the power x, 0.52 to the power 7 minus x. Now the first step is to put x equal to 0. So we get P of 0 is 7c0, 0.48 to the power 0. 0.52 to the power 7 minus 0, which is 1 into 1, and calculate 0.52 to the power 7, which results in 0.0103, which is equal to 0.0103. Now write the formula for the theoretical or expected frequency, that is Tx equal to capital N into P of x. Put x equal to 0. So you'll get T0 is equal to 128 into P of 0, which is 128 into 0.0103, which will give us the value 1.3184. Now that we have the value of T0, we can find out the remaining theoretical frequencies by using the reconciliation between successive frequencies. So write the formula Tx equal to n minus x plus 1 by x, p by q, Tx minus 1. Now in this subdivision, we got the value of p as 0.48 and q as 0.52. So calculate p divided by q, which is 0.48 by 0.52, which is 0.92. And I'm considering only two places after the decimals. Otherwise, the calculations will become tedious. So our reconciliation will reduce to Tx equal to n minus x plus 1 by x, 0.92. Tx minus 1, because p by q we got as 0.92. So the equation changes. Put x equal to 1. So T1 is equal to 7 minus 1 plus 1 by 1, 0.92 T1 minus 1, which is equal to 7 into 0.92 T0, which simplifies to 8.4905. Similarly, put x equal to 2. You will get T2 is equal to 7 minus 2 plus 1 by 2, 0.92 into T2 minus 1, which is 3 into 0.92 T1, which is equal to 23.4334. In a similar way, put x equal to 3 and you get T3 equal to 35.9319. And when we put x equal to 4, you get T4 equal to 33.0573. Similarly, put x equal to 5. So T5 is equal to 7 minus 5 plus 1 by 5, 0.92 T5 minus 1, which is equal to 0.6 into 0.92 into T4, which is equal to 0.6 into 0.92 into 33.0573, which is 18.2476. In a similar manner, substitute x equal to 6, which results in T6 is equal to 5.5954. And when x is equal to 7, T7 is equal to 0.7356. Now that we have obtained all the 7 theoretical frequencies, we write them in the form of a table. So in the first column, write down the x values 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. In the next column, write Tx, which is 1.3184. I have approximated to 1 because the value after the decimal is 3, which is a value which is less than 5. Okay, so 1.3 we can't increase it to 2, so we just write it as 1. Then 8.4905, I've retained it as 8. The same reasoning here. And 23.4334, also I have retained it as 23 because the value after the decimal is 4, which is less than 5. Then 35.9319, I have increased it to 36 because the value after the decimal is 9, which is a value which is greater than 5. Then similarly 33.0573, retain it as 33, 18.2476 as 18, 5.5954 I have increased it to 6 because if the value after the decimal is 5 or if it is a value greater than 5, only then we can increase it by 1. And the last Tx is 0.7356, which I have increased to 1. Now, if we add up all these frequencies, theoretical frequencies, we get capital N equal to 126. But what is capital N in the question? It is 128. So we see that our theoretical frequencies which we have obtained doesn't add up to 128 but is giving us the total as 126. So in such cases, we have to adjust sum of the frequencies so that this sum is equal to 128. Now observe the values in the second column in the table which I have marked with a pink star. 8.4905, we have retained it as 8. And 23.4334 also we have retained it as 23. Now, because we are falling short of 2, we have to adjust these two frequencies. Now, why are we choosing only these two? And why am I not choosing 33.0573? Or why am I not choosing 18.2476 or 1.3184? Now, if you take 1.3184, the value after the decimal is 3 and it is 2 values away from 5. And if I choose 33.0573, the value after the decimal is 0, which is 5 values away from the number 5. Similarly, if I take 18.2476, the value after the decimal is 2. And 2 is 3 values away from 5. So now among all these values, where I have after the decimal 0, 2, 3, 4, the closest ones which are towards 5 is this 8.4905 and 23.4334. That is why 8.4905, now I'll increase it to 9, and 23.4334 I increase it to 24. So the final theoretical or expected frequencies are written in the third column, that is Tx as 1, 9, 24, 36, 33, 18, 6 and 1. Now when we find the total of these expected frequencies, it sums up to capital N equal to 128, which matches with the value which is given in the question. Now, because this is the first problem of this kind which you are working out, it seems little complicated, but my suggestion is only if you practice all the steps on your own and do the calculations using the calculator on your own, then you'll find it much simpler. If you just copy down the values as given in the slide, then it's going to be very difficult for you. So my suggestion and request to all of you is that please understand the steps. Do all the calculations on your own, and by a lot of practice, you will become more confident in understanding this topic better. This will be the final problem under the binomial distribution topic. I have covered in my previous videos 1 markers, 2 markers, 5 mark questions. So the 20th problem, a survey of 100 families each having 5 children revealed the following distribution. Fit a binomial distribution to the data and write down the theoretical frequencies. So only 2 columns will be given to you in the problem. I have done the calculations for the third one and presented in the slide. So the problem would be given as number of male children as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and number of families as 9, 24, 35, 24, 6 and 2. So now the first step is to mark number of male children column as X. The last value in the X column will be N, which is equal to 5. Number of families, you mark it as F. And when we total up these frequencies, you get capital N equal to 100. So write the first step, given small n equal to 5, capital N equal to 100. Now if you observe the question, it doesn't have the words like equally likely. So if they had used the word equally likely, it means that the number of male children and the number of female children probability would be the same, which is 0.5. But that is not mentioned to us in the question. So it means that the parameter P is not given to us. The next step is to define capital X. And what is capital X? See the heading of the first column in the table, number of male children. So define capital X as number of male children. And now since we don't know the value of P in the question, what should we do? We need to find out the mean of the given problem. And how do we calculate the mean of the given problem? We have to use the formula x bar, which is equal to summation fx by capital N, which means that we need fx column. So in the table, form the fx column, which you get as 0, 24, 70, 72, 24 and 10. And summation fx will be equal to 200. Writing the mean formula, x bar is equal to summation fx by capital N. We get x bar is equal to 200 divided by 100, which is equal to 2. Now the important step is to use the formula x bar is equal to NP. That is, we equate the mean of the given problem x bar to the mean of the binomial distribution, which is NP. So substituting the values, you get 2 is equal to 5p, or p is equal to 2 divided by 5, which is 0.4. Now find out q, which is 1 minus p. 1 minus 0.4 is equal to 0.6. So now we have all the three values which are required for the PMF. That is n equal to 5, p is equal to 0.4 and q equal to 0.6. Now write the general format of the PMF, and in this you substitute the values of n, p and q, and we get the final PMF expression as p of x equal to 5cx, 0.4 to the power x, 0.6 to the power 5 minus x, where x takes the value 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 0 otherwise. Consider the PMF p of x equal to 5cx, 0.4 to the power x, 0.6 to the power 5 minus x. Now the first step is to put x equal to 0. So you get p of 0 is equal to 5c0, 0.4 to the power 0, 0.6 to the power 5 minus 0, which is equal to 1 into 1, and 0.6 to the power 5 is 0.0778. So hence we get p of 0 as 0.0778. Now in a fitting of a binomial distribution problem, our aim is to find out the theoretical or expected frequencies. So use the formula Tx is equal to capital N into P of x. When we put x as 0, we get T0 is equal to 100 into P of 0, which is 100 into 0.0778, which is equal to 7.78. Now to find out the remaining theoretical frequencies, that is T1, T2 up to T5, we'll use the recurrence relation between successive frequencies. So what is the formula? It is Tx equal to n minus x plus 1 by x, p divided by q, Tx minus 1. Now in this problem, P divided by Q will be equal to 0.4 divided by 0.6, which is equal to 0.67. Here also I am taking only two places after the decimal after rounding off. So our recurrence relation will reduce to Tx equal to n minus x plus 1 by x, 0.67 into T x minus 1. Now put x equal to 1. So we get T1 is equal to 5 minus 1 plus 1 by 1, 0.67 T1 minus 1, which is equal to 5 into 0.67 T0, which is 5 into 0.67 into 7.78, which is 26.063. Similarly, put x equal to 2. So you will get T2 is equal to 5 minus 2 plus 1 by 2, 0.67 T2 minus 1, which is equal to 2 into 0.67 T1, which is equal to 2 into 0.67 into 26.063, which is equal to 34.9244. In a similar manner, put x equal to 3. So you will get T3 is equal to 23.3993, and when x is equal to 4, we get T4 equal to 7.8388. Put x equal to 5. T5 is equal to 5 minus 5 plus 1 by 5, 0.67 T5 minus 1, which is equal to 0.2 into 0.67 into T4, and on simplification the value for T5 is 1.0504. Now that we have obtained all the theoretical frequencies, write them in the form of a table. So the first column has the x values as 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and in the next column write the Tx values 7.78, 26.063, 34.9244, 23.3993, 7.8388 and 1.0504. Now keep in mind that if the value after the decimal is greater than or equal to 5, then we increase the value by 1. Otherwise, the value is retained as it is. So following this rule, 7.78 is increased to 8, 26.063 is retained as 26, 34.9244 becomes 35, 23.3993 is retained as 23, 7.8388 is increased to 8, and 1.0504 is equal to 1. Now in this table we see that the sum of the theoretical frequencies doesn't total up to 100, but it is 101. Hence we have to adjust some of the frequencies so that the sum is equal to 100. Now I would like you to check the value in the Tx column, which is marked by a pink star, that is 7.78, and also observe the value 7.8388. So among 7.78 and 7.8388, 7.8388 is much closer to the whole number 8 as compared to 7.78. Hence, we'll retain 7.78 as 7, and so the final expected frequencies are 7, 26, 35, 23, 8, 1, and so you get capital N equal to 100. Here's hoping all of you have understood in depth the topic of binomial distribution and its application in problems. It's been a nice experience for me. Thank you for watching, and don't practice until you get it right. Practice until you can't get it wrong. I'm sure all of you are looking forward to the next discrete distribution, that's a Poisson distribution. So watch out for my next videos.